No, no dive?
He's doing it for here. If you can record it, I'm going to impose that together. So I'm and connect to the headset, but then I can't install OBS Studio on it, so I can't use the live stream from there.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I have a Windows 11 computer that I'm going to bring tomorrow, which will work. So tomorrow will be good. Today we're just going to record the audio and send it to me, and I'll put it together. But tomorrow I'm bringing my Windows 11 computer, which will accept the headset, and I can do OBS with that, so we should be all good for that.
There's no way you could just like take the signal from our stream?
That's what we were trying to do. Unfortunately, it just was not working. We've gone through 3 computers trying to find it.
I mean, you were taking the audio from August.
But I haven't been connected to the cameras. So if I were to go...
Well, I mean, like, you would have a way to just get an audio out from the... What?
And I think the problem is computer end on all things. Because this
Have
one...
you tested our option to plug into something else?
We've tried different wires all over the problem.
What? How are you connecting it into the web? How are you connecting it into the web?
Problem is, Mac, it has a problem that is system-wide number one.
Yeah, I would get like this audio interface for stuff like this, because then you could for sure know that you're going to get an audio input. It's finicky with these dual headphone microphone jacks.
me and our Erev Rosh Hashanah service to bring in the new year of 5783. One thing we've learned in the past couple of years is that we are truly part of a thriving global Jewish community. And so, via this video, which we're going to show in just 1 minute, we bring you New Year's greetings from Pittsburgh and from Ghana, from Brazil and New York, from Tel Aviv, Argentina, and Costa Rica. Well, you'll see it all in a moment. So this is called Reset by Noah Aronson and Abigail Cooper. Sojourn here, and her son will Parker, who does sound for us tonight with the help of Cameron McGee, and we appreciate all of you more than we can say. And very special thanks to Cor Medrick for running our live stream, and to Amy Medrick, our coordinator, who just thinks of everything. So my co-leader, yes indeed, my co-leader Erin is an attorney with the Southern Poverty Law Center by day. Absolutely. And a relatively new but very active member of Kolami and the chair of our Tikkun Olam committee. So he and his wife, Anissa Sapala, have 2 kids, Alec and Laurel. Are they here tonight? Ah, yes, great, wonderful, yay. Along with Aaron's parents, Rich and Ada Fleischer. Welcome. So we're going to begin by lighting the holiday candles. We invite Jane Penkovsky, the chair of our ritual committee, to lead us in a few introductory words, and the blessing is on page 28.
Here's a kavanah for the lighting of the candles. The first mitzvah in the Torah is let there be light. So we are commanded. In everything we do, be a menorah, a bringer of light. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished. And may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always stretching upward, striving for the good, reaching for the divine. Join me in the brachot, I should say. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadar ner shel olam tov. And now we should Shehechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Shehechianu v'kimanu v'hidyanu l'zman ha'azeh.
And now let me call forward 2 folks who are out here on the bima to bring us the sound of the shofar, Abe Friedman and Reese Harbor. I invite everyone to rise in spirit or body and bring the sounds into your heart that call us to wake up and reset and live our fullest lives. Tekiah! Beautiful. Yeshua. All right. Please be seated. More of that to come tomorrow.
Welcome again. I just want to say a personal welcome. It's so great to see so many of you who I've only seen on Zoom. As the Rabbi mentioned, our family are relatively new to Kolami, and so we joined during the pandemic. It's so nice that we can all be here in person this evening to celebrate this new year. We'll begin with a reading. It's called At the Precipice by Joanne Fink. We stand together on the precipice of the new year as it is about to unfold. What joys and sorrows will it hold? As we turn, and we learn our sacred purpose, may we strengthen our connection to the source of all. May embarking on a journey of teshuvah and reflection, soul-searching, and introspection help us hear and answer God's call. May this be the year we choose to live our lives fully, with passion, perspective, purpose, and promise. May the traditions and teaching of our people be an ongoing source of strength and inspiration. May we listen to the still, small voice within, and may the unspoken prayer of our hearts be answered and fulfilled.
And let us say, Amen. If you're in the room, please turn to page 62 in your prayer book. If you're on live stream, you have access to an electronic version of the Machzor from the email you received or on our website. You are looking on our website, go to kolamivirginia.org, click on worship, click on prayer book, and then you'll see high holiday boxer. Let's rise in spirit or body to bless the source of knowledge. Page
61 in the English, and I'd like to call up Anna Weber to the floor mic. Blessed are you, eternal one, our God, sovereign of all worlds, by whose word the evenings fall. In wisdom you open heaven's gates. With divine discernment you make seasons change, cause the times to come and go, and order the stars from their appointed paths through heaven's dome, all according to your will. Creator of the day and night, roll back light before the dark, and dark before the light. Now Anna will share with us a poetic version of the evening prayer written by Rabbi Rami Shapiro.
Bless Adonai, who spins day into dusk with wisdom. Watch the dawn gates open with understanding. Let time and seasons come and go with awe. Perceive the stars in lawful orbit. Morning dawns, evening darkens. Darkness and light yield in one to the other, yet each distinguished and unique. Marvel at life. Strive to know its ways. Seek wisdom and truth, the gateways to life's mysteries. Wondrous indeed is the evening twilight.
Thank you. On page 66, the last paragraph in Hebrew.
about listening, truly listening. And listening is not hearing. Hearing is, or can be passive. Listening is active. It takes our attention. And especially in these current times when we're all so distracted, when our society is so polarized, it's even more important to really take the time to do that active work of listening. To listening to family, to friends, to those close to you, but also listening to those who you may think of as others. And if you truly listen, you discover something else the Shema teaches, which is that we are all more alike and we are different.
So now take a moment to catch your breath, to listen to one another's breathing in your row, from you, behind you, to find a holy stillness that connects us one with the other and all that exists with everything that ever was or ever will be.
Please join me on page 75. And you must love the one, your God, with your whole heart, with every breath, with all you have. Take these words that I command you now to heart. Teach them intently to your children. Speak them when you sit inside your house, or walk upon the road, when you lie down, and when you rise. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and keep them visible before your eyes. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates.
So our liturgy draws a direct line between listening to truth to redemption. Listening to truth to redemption. There's a pair of quotes I'd like to share with you. One is by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of the towering figures of American Judaism in the 20th century. He wrote that every little deed counts, every word has power, quote, and that we can, everyone, do our share to redeem the world in spite of all absurdities and all frustrations and all disappointments. Above all, said Rabbi Heschel, remember that the meaning of life is to build a life as if it were a work of art. You're not a machine, and you are young. Start working on this great work of art called your own existence. I think that applies to whatever age we're at. Interestingly, I came across a similar quote from the late Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, who wrote just 2 years ago before his passing. God longs for us to create and thereby become God's partner in the work of renewal. Our life is the single greatest work of art we will ever make. On the high holidays, we step back from our life like an artist stepping back from the canvas, seeing what needs changing for the painting to be complete. Mi Chamocha, the Song of Redemption, is on page 90. move to the evening prayer, Hashkimenu, pages 91 and 92, and the transliteration is at the top of 94. Colonites, it's all yours.
between galaxies or silences in the soul, and God will hear. Honesty with all, but speaking to God is different. Mine the soul for your coal and gems and regular earth. No pretense, and God will hear. Don't force the prayer or string words together. Pause, perhaps better not to pray. Science will be a message of awe, and God will hear. Now step off into the very deep, beyond the way of prayer. We glimpse unknown magnitudes of God, no more, or we would be stunned into silence. Except that love makes itself small, we could not pray at all.
Please make your way silently into the Amida on pages 104 to 126, or allow the prayers of your heart to rise up in the silence. Please rise, as Brother Richard says, in the waves of holy.
go to the last line, page 126. May the one who makes peace in the heavens make peace for us here on earth as well. And session.
more to say about this in subsequent services. But our opening video reminded us that Rosh Hashanah is a time to reset, to get up and become active. There are people in our midst in Northern Virginia who exemplify these ideas of getting back up after tremendous setbacks. This is true of refugees in general, of asylum seekers especially, and certainly of the Afghan refugees who are living in our community. I'd like to turn things over to Erin to introduce our speaker and to talk about our social justice, our Tikkun Olam committee.
Thank you, Rabbi. As many of you probably know, Tikkun Olam means to repair the world. And there is so much in our world right now that needs repairing. It can sometimes feel a little overwhelming. Certainly no one community, no one congregation can repair the whole world, but we can all do our part. And so the Tikkun Olam Committee in the past has done different events to repair different parts of our world. We've done cleanup to repair the environment. This year, while we may do some other individual events like a stream cleanup or something like that, we're going to focus most of our energy, as Rabbi alluded to, on helping the Afghan refugees within our community. Maddie Cohen, a little later, is going to talk about the specific project that we're going to engage in, the Refugee Engagement Project. But first, we're very lucky to have a member of our congregation, Anya McMurray, who is the president of Welcome.us, which is a new organization that was started with the very purpose of assisting Afghan refugees who have come to the United States. So with that, I'd like to invite Anya up to talk a little bit about the work and about the need that's out there.
Shana Tova. As Erin said, I'm Anya McMurray. I'm married to Andrew Keller, one of the Jewish studies teachers here, and my mother to Leah and Zev Keller, who are active members along with many of their classmates who are here in JSA. So we're all thrilled to have you all here today. We've been members of Kolani for about 2 years. We joined in the midst of the early days, really, of COVID and lockdown, and we have loved getting to know so many of you and are very appreciative of the wonderful, warm, and deeply welcoming community that is Kolani. And as someone who's not raised in the Jewish faith, it is that deep welcoming that I am particularly appreciative of, the intentionality of welcome that I receive here. And as I look out at this congregation, and when we engage with our fellow JSIP families, I see people from so many backgrounds and traditions. This congregation has made a point of being welcomers, and the generosity and warmth that flows from that intentionality is tangible. It's expressed in the kindness we show to one another, the diversity of our community, and I am so hopeful that it will be that welcoming that we extend through this new project to so many newcomers in our midst who need that helping hand right now. It's the embodiment of the lessons we want to teach our children and to hold ourselves accountable to, not just this time of year, but every day. So I'm here this evening as we start this new year to talk about that sense of welcome and how we can work to expand it in the world, with the focus on those who have an acute, urgent need for welcome. Refugees and other newcomers to our country, to our county, really to our neighborhood. I am the founder and leader of a new organization called Welcome.us. It was launched just a little over a year ago in response to what has been a great national challenge, welcoming nearly 80,000 Afghan evacuees into our communities at a pace and a scale we have never done before as a country. Those numbers were astonishing, especially when we take into consideration that the traditional refugee resettlement system had been deeply damaged in the preceding years and had only welcomed 11,000 refugees in 2020. It was an overwhelming task for the U.S. government and its traditional government partners, but what we saw happen in communities across the country, again, right here in Arlington as well, was that everyday Americans stepped up. Neighborhood listservs were activated to help airport pickups, furniture drives, and apartment setups. I'm sure many of you were on those neighborhood listservs. It was astounding to watch unfold. Civic groups and businesses stepped up with donations of diapers and razors and coats and cell phones and so much more. And together, it was an all-of-country effort that welcomed nearly 80,000 Afghans in need of safety in less than 6 months. And it revealed a beautiful truth about our country. Despite all the noise to the contrary, we are a nation of welcomers. We have seen that same outpouring now of support for Ukrainians, so that when Russia invaded Ukraine just 6 months after the fall of Kabul, the U.S. did not say, we can't do more. Instead, our government took a risk and opened a pathway to safety for tens of thousands of Ukrainians who also urgently sought refuge here. And they did this by looking beyond government systems. Again, they reached out to the American public to ask for help, and Americans again raised their hands and said, I will help. That program, called Uniting for Ukraine, has allowed more than 100,000 Americans to sign up to sponsor a Ukrainian family in need. More than 60,000 Ukrainians have already arrived in the U.S. with an American sponsor as a result of that program. That has never before happened in this country. It is a quiet revolution in our ability to support newcomers. It gives us tremendous hope. I have looked deeply on immigration and refugee issues for years. The politics have become toxic and progress often seemed impossible. But the response of Americans to these twin crises has been truly extraordinary. And for me and many others, it is a tremendous cause for hope. In less than 9 months, everyday Americans just like us have signed up and stepped up to sponsor more refugees than the whole of the U.S. government admitted in the last 5 years combined. What we've seen at Welcome.us is that Americans are welcomers. And I think this will deeply resonate with many of you. If given the opportunity, if given a chance, Americans, each of us, want to lend a hand. And we want to make that path easier for others. We want to welcome. The challenge is not in changing the hearts and minds of Americans, but in helping to make it easier to find that pathway and celebrate that work, to acknowledge it, and to inspire more of it. And time again, what we are seeing as an organization is that the life of the welcomer is touched just as much as the life of those being welcomed. And those welcomers in turn invite new welcomers, and it is this virtuous cycle that not only improves the lives of welcomers, but is helping us heal our own divides within our own communities and within the nation as a whole. I want to take just a couple more minutes to tell you about the work of a few families that have joined in this effort. There are many right here in Northern Virginia and DC. Max and his son are 2 of them, and they were early adopters to this work. They stepped up following the arrival of Afghan families in this area, and Max recently told us, I quote, I think that to me the core of this work is how we can share this love, this sense of home, the sense of community with a family that is suffering such deep trauma. His teenage son, Julian, told us, I helped build the chairs for the kitchen, and I also gave him a bike. It makes me feel good to help other families and know that I am doing it for a good reason and a good cause. So it feels like I am actually part of something very, very big. Another family from Hartsfield, South Carolina, said this about their work with a Ukrainian family that they've sponsored. As we watched the horror and tragedy unfold on TV, we weren't sure we could sponsor. But then we learned about Uniting for Ukraine, and we met Helena and her son, and now we feel like we've made such a difference. And they, more importantly, have done the same for us. It hasn't always been easy, but we helped Helena get a driver's license and find a place to live, and now she goes to sleep at night knowing she is safe. And just one more example comes from my own parents, who are part of a small sponsoring group in Iowa City where I grew up. Last fall, as Kabul fell, my dad felt compelled to act. A friend reached out with the idea of sponsoring, and he and my mom, along with several other families from 2 congregations, said yes. It took many months to be matched with an Afghan family, but in June, Hamid, who had been a contractor with the USAID program, and his wife and their 2 children arrived on a midnight plane to this small regional airport in small town Iowa. They were met by 10 Americans who didn't speak a word of Pashto, but had huge hearts and a fierce determination to help. And now, 4 months later, Hamid has a job, his wife is learning English, the kids are in Head Start, and their small group of 10 islands has grown to a network of 30, offering rides to the doctor, help finding a dentist, practicing English, and a nearly constant invitation to just drop by and share in a typical Afghani meal. What we have learned at Welcome.us over and over again is that we are this nation of welcomers. If we focus on the doing and not the messages that we see and hear all day on the news, but on the doing of helping to participate, to being a part of another person's life, helping them find safety and start in the beginning, Americans overwhelmingly say yes. And in that work, in the doing, it's where the barriers are broken down. Barriers between us versus them, as Americans and newcomers, but also the barriers that too often divide us as Americans as well. One of the greatest joys of this work has been in seeing the tremendous diversity of the Americans who have said yes. From veterans to return Peace Corps volunteers like my father and myself, from business leaders to retired teachers, it has brought Americans together across divides. And while there may be something uniquely compelling about supporting our Afghan allies or the victims of Russian aggression, I firmly believe that this work does not stop there. Welcoming is addictive and it is contagious, and there are tens of thousands of people who need our help. Later this evening, you'll be invited to join this work, and I hope that you will consider opening your heart to the opportunity and saying yes to being a welcomer and taking that first step in repairing the world.
So beautiful. Thank you, Anya. Your work is inspiring to us and to so many people across the country. Some months ago we did a survey of the social action work that our members are already doing, and the results were extraordinary. Our folks have been taking upon themselves, just like Anya has, this incredibly holy work, the work of redemption. So the Alleluia prayer that we're going to turn to now reminds us it is upon us, Alleluia, to do what we can. And I really appreciate your telling us and encouraging us to say yes. And I think we will be saying yes. Page 1202, 1202, please rise in spirit and your body. The ark will be open. An awful lot of ground in this monster.
Stop.
57 each day during this whole season of repentance. You can find it in your Machzor on pages 1217 and 1219. But I have a feeling you're going to find this translation by Rabbi Yael Levi more articulate.
To the beloved, the infinite presence is my light and expanse. Whom shall I fear? The infinite presence is the strength of my life. What shall I dread? When forces come close, seeking to devour me, when narrowness threatens and opposition attacks, all that is menacing stumbles and falls.
Even as an army of mistrust besieges me, my heart does not fear. Even as thoughts and desires rise up against me, I still have trust. One thing I ask of the infinite, one thing I seek, to dwell in the presence all the days of my life, to awaken to the beauty of each moment as I pass through this world.
The infinite shelters me as I encounter difficulty and pain. The infinite pulls me close and deep in places and lifts me high upon a rock. Now I can see through to what is true, and I will offer my gifts of thanks, and I will sing and make music to the eternal.
Please, Infinite One, listen to my voice, hear my call, be gracious with me, answer me. You call to my heart, seek my presence, your presence I seek. Please don't hide from me. Please don't let me turn away in anger.
I long to serve you. You are my help. Do not let me feel abandoned. Do not let me turn away. In you I am safe. For my mother and father have left me, and it is you who gathers me in. Teach me your ways. Guide me on the path of integrity. There is so much to lead me astray.
Don't let me give in to all that torments me, the lies, the illusions, the menacing threats. I must have faith that I can see through all of this. I can see the good, the blessings, the ways of life. Cultivate hope in the infinite presence. Let your heart be strong and filled with courage. Cultivate hope.
Thank you, Elena. Maddie and I would come up to the podium. The Warner's Kaddish is on page 1216. Please rise if you are in mourning or observing a work site. We extend our sympathies to Andrea Grill and Leanne Hopkins on the passing of Andrea's mother last week, Elaine Grill. May her memory and the memory of all of our loved ones be a blessing to us in the coming year. 1216. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חיותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ויומכון וחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם אמן אמן. יתברך וישתבח Yitronam, Yitaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei, Kudisha, Yitu, Le'ela, Yikol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushkachata, V'nechemata, Da'amiran De'amah, Ve'imru, Amen. Yehei Shana Rabba, Min Shemaya, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויראו אמן. עושה שלום בלבב, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויראו אמן. Please be seated. Maddie. Time for the pitch.
Hi, so following up on what you heard earlier, instead of doing a kind of one-off high holidays Tikkun Olam activity, we are folding this into the entire season, the entire year of our Tikkun Olam project, kicking off today. So there are Afghan refugee families here in Arlington who will be getting in touch with and hoping to be able to very concretely help. And this is where you can come in. There are primarily 3 types of tasks that folks can do. You know, general welcoming support, as I had talked about. Helping people with grocery runs, learning the public transportation system, navigating doctor's appointments, school meetings, helping them get their Wi-Fi set up. Also doing things like helping newcomers get jobs. Help them write resumes, practice interviews, just practice their English. Set up play dates with your kids, anything. And then we have a donation button. So you may have already noticed this because these folks need financial support as much as moral and in-kind support. It's all needed. There's a button on the Kolomi website where you can donate to a specific fund that will go to help the families and the folks that we are kind of paired with, but also to help inspire you about thinking about what you really can do. It's one thing for me or Anya or Aaron or Rabbi Gila to stand up here and say, you can do things. I want you to think about what you really can do. What are your skill sets? What are your interests? So to that end, we have there's a box of index cards on the table out there. And I invite you to take an index card home and think about something you can do, even if it's only one thing. I can help make someone make an appointment to the doctor. I can drive someone to a school meeting. I want you to think about what inspires you to do that, and write that down, and then bring that back in. I'm not going to hound individual people about that. When we actually have somebody paired, we have needs, we will have a more formal system for volunteering to do that. But I do hope you will take a card, think about what you can do, and because you may come up with an idea that none of us have already thought about, and bring it back, and we'll collect those and have those, and those cards, you can put your name on them, they can be anonymous, like I said. The card aspect is aspirational and inspirational, because we will be coming back when we have specific families with specific needs, and I hope you'll already be primed to help out with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. It's really exciting that we're going forward, and Anya has been working with a group, that says identify a family and a building with lots of people who are eager for our help. So we are really primed and ready to roll. So please do just what that is. Join us tomorrow morning for services at 10 a.m. Children and their parents will have family services downstairs in the activity room at 10 a.m. for the youngins and 11 a.m. for kids who are 7 and older, led by the wonderful Carol Boyd-Leon. And then kids and their families are all invited to join us here in the sanctuary for the shofar blowing and end of our main service, and then apples and honey afterwards. At 5:30 tomorrow afternoon, we're going to meet at the J. Dean Park in Arlington for Tashlich and a potluck picnic. So bring something to eat. I had it written down, bring pebbles to toss in the stream to take away all of our sins. But John Robert Johnson has come up with the most marvelous idea, and we are having the first ever duck chow tashlich. So we will have duck chow for everybody to toss into the stream. And of course, bring along annoying things about yourself that you like to get rid of. So we'll toss them all over. My thanks to my co-leaders, Aaron Fleischer and Kazan, Jim North, and all of the Colamites. Just a moment, I'll get back to you. To our speaker, Anya McMurray, and to those who took part in tonight's service, Jane Pankowski, Maddie Cohen, Anna Weber, very much appreciated. Colamites, you came out of semi-retirement, and you made us forget that there was a pandemic. So we are so thrilled by the artistry and dedication of our arranger, Jason Wright, thanks to our guitarist and vocalist, Jim and Margie Jervis, to our brass section, Erev de Mesquita and Jason Wright on French horn, Ray Greco on bass saxophone. Do I have that right? Tenor saxophone. Okay. Clarinetist, Lucy Greco tonight, and Larry Schrag on bass clarinet. Okay, that's the bass. Jonathan Baumgarten on flute and piccolo, Robin Cook on both percussions and vocals, Steve Pershing on violin, and Emily Toll on cello. You're all amazing musicians and beloved members of the Colombian. Again, special thanks to our coordinator, Amy Medrick, for coordinating everything, and to Core Medrick for helping with the live stream. Our logistics coordinators for High Holidays are the wonderful Mary Kuntz and Lance Feiner, and they've enlisted a cast of dozens to help with all sorts of things. So thank you to all of you who helped out, greeters and ushers and setup artists and the members and visitors team led by Emily Schwartz-Greco for the warm welcome you've been providing everyone. Very much appreciated. And our Kiddush crew, who's out getting our Kiddush ready tonight. We could use, I think, a little more help with cleanup afterwards, so please lend a hand if you're able. We've got one more song, Reset, this time led by our Colamites, and then we will adjourn to the lobby and the front patio for Kiddush, challah, apples, and honey. Do you have a handout to sing along with? I'm not sure if people have. Yes? No? All right, well then, here, I think Jim's going to teach you the whoa, whoa, whoa.
Okay, so if you weren't paying careful attention at the start, you get another shot. This is really simple. It's right down the scale. Ya da 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 da. Let me try it again. Da 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 da. Except we're not going to do da da da. We're going to do whoa, 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 whoa. Try it again. Whoa. With the second one that goes like this. Listen carefully, there's one note different. Whoa, whoa. Did you hear the difference? So one is whoa, and the second one is higher. Whoa. Try it together. Whoa. You'll hear us get to it. Once we get to it, you can just keep singing that for the rest of the song. We're counting on you. And if you want to stand up and wave, you know. That is the
Lord,